Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum. In this game, pay close attention to how I manage the tempo of the game and how I was able to get a huge round with double technology. Alright, to start off the bat, we have Sledgehammer's fans and I am playing as a giant specialist. My opponent is playing as a marksman specialist with sledgehammers and crawlers. This is a 1700 MMR game. When you're starting off with sledgehammers and you see marksman on the board, you immediately want to get more chaff. Because once the chaff is cleared, you cannot win against sledgehammers with marksman, especially not with a level 3 marksman. The only way you can do it is to delay the marksman by using more chaff. And another way, the reason why you want to get more chaff is you want your sledgehammers to get an earlier level than his, which means the more chaff you have distracting his army, more shots that your sledgehammers can deal, and hopefully more experience and more levels. Alright, looking at round 1, seems to be okay. My chaff clear is not excellent, but I do have sledgehammers. At some point I can just hit the mech rage button, and now they became still not excellent, but decent chaff clear. So here you can see, once the chaff screen is cleared, there's just no chance for my sledgehammers to win. So the first round goes to my opponent. Early unit drop card. Wasp makes the most sense. Right now my opponent has no anti-air. So Wasp is a bit of a tempo play, forcing him to go with some type of anti-air, like maybe Mustangs. And Mustangs aren't excellent against sledgehammers, especially if I'm planning on upgrading the sledgehammers down the line. Arc Glides could be good, just to have that additional chaff clear, but he already has marksman, so Arc Glide just gives them a target. My opponent took the Rhino. Excellent choice. I am lacking single unit DPS on my side of the board. Right now, the most damage is coming from my sledgehammers, and they're not that great. Not with technology, anyways. So I have my Wasp set up in the back, just behind my crawlers, so that my crawlers will come in and start doing the tanking, while my Wasp here will do the spanking. And his Rhino, wonder where he's going to be. Is that going to be right here in the middle, being shot at by 2 squads of sledgehammers? Is that going to be on the side? And it's going to be on the side. Okay. So, looking at this board, I think my right-hand side is going to have a bit of a problem with the Rhino, but I'm feeling pretty good on my left-hand side. The additional chaff and that extra crawler in the middle that splits is going to provide a lot of cover. My opponent is kind of suffering the same problem as I am, being stuck with sledgehammers as their only means to chaff clear. Which means the board with more chaff, and that's currently me, is going to have a better time. Alright, Wasp getting in there. Wasp is trying to do his best before it gets all shut down by these marksmen. Let's get the tower. I wonder if we can get this Rhino with the tower debuff. That would be pretty sweet. And there it is. And that just means that my Wasp probably is going to get a level pretty soon. Okay. Rhino looks scary in the early rounds, but there are many ways to defend against it. I think eventually you have a melter, and that would just cancel the Rhino completely. You can also go with steel balls in the vertical format with range, or if you have enough chaff, you don't even have to worry about range. Lots of great cards. I think my opponent is probably going to take Nano or Absorption for the Rhino. Those cards don't work too well yet because I don't have large units, so I end up taking Haste Module, just giving it a little bit of damage. Right now, my opponent has only tanks as chaff clear, so the sooner I can get rid of this pack of sledgehammers, or any pack of sledgehammers, the sooner my chaff is going to overwhelm the marksman. And seeing how I had 1 sledgehammer already leveled up, that's a very easy choice. Okay, my opponent did decide to add even more marksman as a direct counter to my wasp, but with quick reload, they're also participating in chaff clear and also dealing more damage to my sledgehammers. Quick reload is one of those cards that confuses a lot of people because technically you're not getting any net damage increase from this technology, right? Because what it does is it doubles your attack speed but halves your damage. But with marksman having so much overkill on a board that's mostly chaff and medium-sized units, the quick reload actually increases the net damage per round because now it reduces overkill, it can shoot more frequently, right? So it's a pretty good technology. But not good enough because of the sledgehammers with haste module level 2 getting rid of the chaff clear, and now we have tower. Alright, let's get this level 3 marksman here. Let's get a level on this wasp. Nice. This Rhino continues to be a problem. I'm not sure if I can get tower. And with absorption module, he's just going to continue to regen health. I don't have enough damage to get rid of him. Alright. Deployment or Junior Man? Junior Man is really nice, considering I'm also looking to maybe go just with more sledgehammers. Now, I am giant spec, but I feel like right now the board does favor sledgehammer a little bit. I can go fortress here, but I don't have a strong reason to just yet, right? Fortress does outscale marksman pretty nice, but he already has at least on one side, 3 marksmen that's leveled. So Fortress right now is a bit dangerous. I want to see if I can continue to just roll him with the chaff and at some point tech my sledgehammers. So in this round, I've decided to take deployment spec, knowing that I'll be putting down a lot more chaff and also in the future a lot more medium-sized units. My opponent continues to ignore the chaff problem, which I think is a mistake. I think there should be either more sledgehammers or arc lights or even Vulcan, because that's where he's losing. But it's going to be a bit of a tough situation, right? Because not only he has to deal with chaff that's on the ground, I'm also going pretty hard with chaff that's in the air in the form of these wasps. So my opponent decided to have sort of an in-between unit. The Mustangs, they're not great against chaff on the ground. They're not great against chaff in the air. At least not in the same level, but they can shoot both. And once I've seen the Mustangs, I was very happy because Mustangs are not only they're not really great chaff clear, they absolutely get hammered by my tanks. So the strategy becomes a lot more clear in my mind of what I wanted to do to close out this game. He doesn't have any giants on the board yet, so there's always a threat of just him dropping down 2 fortresses, and that's going to counter a lot of the things that I'm doing. But until then, I have a very good opportunity to get my tanks leveled and also to get them tapped up. The Rhino is still doing work, but it's not going to do nearly as much because not only I have high level Wasp, I also have a lot of unit left over, and with the tower debuff, this Rhino is going to get destroyed. Alright, we got round 5, lots of supply. Junior Man is offered again, and I'm gonna go for it. It is an expensive card, but once you can start putting down more than 6 packs of units, then you start to profit from this card, right? Actually 7 pack because of the extra 50 that you're not getting from skipping. And it works great when you have a deployment spec, because then you can just spam crawlers and chaff and all of that stuff round after round, and you can overwhelm your opponent. I've decided to add even more sledgehammers here. I'm setting up with this big boom. My opponent saw the chat problem from the last turn. And also, he took double junior, which means now his level 2 Mustangs cost only 200 supplies. And his level 1 Mustang actually only costs 100 supply, putting them into sort of a chaff territory. And what's even more scary is that his crawlers cost 0 supply. So that's pretty scary. He can put down, casually just start dropping down crawlers after he tech his units. So I have to close out this game quick, because the longer this game goes on, the more advantage my opponent is going to get from his double junior cards. Alright, so just looking at the board here, and you can clearly see where my opponent's boards start to fail. We still have a lot of crawlers on the ground, which means chaff clear is still inadequate from my opponent. And even if he gets rid of the chaff, I have a lot of sledgehammers. Yes, these marksmen can one-shot these level 1 sledgehammers, no problem. But with so many on the board, and he really doesn't have any meat in front of his army, I can get through them quicker than he can get through me. The Rhino continues to be an issue, but it's not going to be an issue for too long. And now my board is ready. Alright. And thank Bear, like, we got melting point. I was wondering how I wanted to deal with this Rhino if he decides to keep it, but with melting point, that's a pretty easy decision. My board now consists of 7 squads of sledgehammers, most of them leveled up. I decided to take double tech with mech rage and range. Now they're mini snipers. This level 4 sledgehammers are doing 3,600 damage. They're out damaged this level 2 marksman. Right, and I got 5 of them per squad. Didn't want to take the borrow just yet because I have a lot of HP. I want to see how this one goes. What I expect is I'm going to clear his chaff very quickly. And once that's done, my units are going to land on his units. Melting point is picked up by my opponent. It's not going to do him too well because of the sheer quantity of sledgehammers going into his line. Rhino was sold. Okay, so I wonder where is he going to spend his money. Level 2, more Mustangs. Alright, so Mustang is going to be the chaff clear of choice. But now it's a little too late because my board is already complete. So even if he does clear all of my crawlers before my sledgehammers engages his units, he does not have enough units to get rid of my sledgehammers. Marksmen, they are okay, especially now they have they have so many of them. They also have quick reload. But you're gonna need a lot of marksmen to get rid of my sledgehammers. Alright, chaff is being cleared on my opponent's side. Marksmen getting onto the sledgehammers. Still crawlers running in, which means the Mustangs are still not successfully filling the road. And with so many crawlers running in and with the rest of my line already on his unit, this might be GG actually. This is a lot of damage coming from me. Nope, just one more round. Alright, where can my opponent win? Okay, so smoke was offered. Smoke is really good against like a sledgehammer line. And right now he doesn't even need to put smoke on my side of the board. He can have smoke like right here, because that's where my sledgehammer will be. I'm forcing them to go even further. Senior defense was picked up by me. Sledgehammers get pretty tanky once you level them up. So now this guy has 18,000 per unit. So this is times 5. And also senior defense works well against quick reload marksmen. They'll have to spend more time shooting at it. And sometimes the additional HP from senior defense may forces the marksman to do even more overkill. So the breakpoint is changing for your units. My opponent took electromag because I have double tech on my tanks. And I've just decided to just go even more tanks at the bottom as late arriving. Right now, my tanks are not only my carry, they're my chaff clear. They're sort of the Swiss Army knife of my army. They deal everything except shooting air. If my opponent is smart, he should have realized my lack of anti-air. That would have been one way for him to get back into this game. But outside of that, I think he is in some trouble. I don't even think the melting point is needed at this point, with so many marksmen that's already on the board. Alright, and this round is playing out very similarly to the last round. The chaff gets absolutely demolished. My hordes of crawlers are coming in. Level 2 Mustangs aren't doing their job, and they're now now they're at the front tanking everything, which means my crawler is just gonna get 2 of them, right? There's no defense against that. And that's game. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.